Good afternoon. Thanks a lot for coming with this superb sun in Cannes. This is a tough challenge. Thank you for being there with us. I'd like to talk about the TV disruption. And you know that this disruption has been expected for years now. But we knew it was coming. But we were short of some concrete evidence on this disruption. And guess what? In the last few weeks, the last few months, boom, everything is coming almost at once, at the same time. It's like we can call it the catch-up moment if you want. In real, it's not like this. TV is changing very quickly, and this change is right now. And I would like to share with you the 10 main points, let's say, of this disruption. Of course, there will be more than these 10 points. You know them by heart. A few remarks before. We are in a growing business. We are not in the print business, we are in the video business, and it's a growing business. Second, with the digital, it will be much more fun than before. But third, we as TV broadcaster, we are no more alone. And these 10 points, I think I will begin with the first one. The first one is with the news. Of course, the fundamentals of the news will remain the same. But we will have a new syntax. We will have new formats. We will have new grammar. We will have new vocabulary. And this is coming through the new kids of the block with a lot of new platforms to show news. I'd like to share with you a couple of very small examples. Let's begin with Instagram, and I will show you only example of news on mobile. This example is the BBC on Instagram, and you will see there is no voiceover, there is no plateau, there is no studio, and don't forget, it's on mobile. Very short, but very, very new for a big, huge broadcasting company. And you know maybe Snapchat. Snapchat, remember, it still is a messaging company with some short messaging disappearing in a few seconds after, or maybe some hours after you send them. And now Snapchat is having agreement with the big guys, with CNN, with Vice News, with National Geographic. So Snapchat, who is still a messaging company, is doing this deal with broadcaster. Let's have a look on CNN and National Geographic on this platform. Remember again, this is a messaging platform on mobile.
This is CNN.
So basically, what you are watching are a new kind of a syntax, a new kind of a grammar in a way of news storytelling. And they are always mobile, they are always social, they are always interactive. There is no more top-down or less top-down, and it's more and more live. Some other signs, who would have guessed that Obama will give a very sophisticated interview on Vox Media? Vox Media didn't exist 1 year ago, a little bit more than 1 year ago. Have a look on this interview, on the post-production of this interview on Vox Media. Same, Obama is giving interview on Vice News. Some couple of months ago, the BBC was making fun of Vice News, saying it was not serious enough. Vice News is a huge player now in news. And guess where the US administration announced its position on climate change? It announced its position on Medium. Medium is a text platform. It's like the YouTube of text. So you see there is a new way of telling stories, a new way of distributing these stories to a different audience. And next, well, it's not next, it's now. You may have heard about Periscope. You may have heard about Meerkat on Twitter. With this application, with your phone, everyone can make live TV right now. This is a huge disruption on news. But it's not only on news. It's also in other formats. It's also on fictions, games, and other kind of genre. You may remember that in news, when the Huffington Post came, the big newspaper were also making fun of the Huffington Post. Now the Huffington Post is bigger in terms of online traffic than every single US national newspaper, bigger than the New York Times or the Washington Post or the Wall Street Journal. And today, of course, YouTube is huge. YouTube is no more cat on skateboard, as you know. YouTube is a huge platform, bigger today than most of the US cable companies. This is just the beginning of a huge hyper offer of content on every single screen. This is just the beginning of streaming with interaction, increasing interaction, with co-creation, with co-production with the public. The public thinks it can control the internet and it will use it. And you know that this player inside YouTube, for example, can be makers. Maker Studio has been at the MIP several times. Maker Studio is one of the biggest YouTube channels. By the way, there are 55,000 makers inside this MCN, these multiple channel networks. There are more than 11 billion views monthly and more than 600 million subscribers. These are absolutely huge figures. And by the way, Disney bought it for 1 billion a couple of months ago. These are the people who are the new big player. And maybe you don't know these young guys. You may don't know people like, I think about the Viner. A Viner is a young guy doing Vine on Twitter, a young French guy called Jérôme Scherer. Jérôme Scherer is based in New York, and when he says he's coming to Hyde Park, he's coming to Istanbul, or he's coming to Paris, the crowd is bigger than for the Beatles. These are the kids now ruling the entertainment, and it's just the beginning of it. Again, new grammar, new syntax, new vocabulary to entertain. And with that come something very new. Something very new, very useful for us, for every single big actor. These are the data, the crucial role of the data. This data will help us on 3 different goals. The first one will be not only to increase the audience, but to recruit and to have a better relation with the audience. The data analysis will help us improve the content. And also, of course, the data analysis and the data extraction will help us improve the relation with the big brands. This is something totally new. This is just the beginning of it. It's not easy because for the data you have to know how to deal with that. You know how to find them. You have to know how to use them, and you have to have a dedicated team. And we are just at the beginning where you have the big TV, the big production company creating their data teams called the data scientists. But with data comes trust. And we believe, at least in the French public service, that trust is the next killer app when you talk about data. When you have the different governments trying to track or to monitor the citizen, when you have the big GAFA taking your data and selling it to advertisers, you better have a good relationship with your end users. And this trust and transparency are considered as new services. It's very important to have user-friendly experience concerning data. For example, at France Télévisions, we decided last year to share with the audience what we are doing with the data, where we will stock them, and what we will do with this data. And we will ask the authorization as an opt-in system to ask them if they agree that we share them with some brands and some advertisers. The next one, very, very important for the old broadcast company and the TV industry, it's this new culture of innovation. You know that this very famous sentence that culture eats strategy at every breakfast. The fact that you have to change culture inside the company, internally, is one of the big challenges we have in front of us. To have better process, to have more agility, but also a big talent war is going on now to find the best people, including in the development and the geek side. This digital transformation means new methods, as I mentioned, new mobility, less expensive process in order to act quickly and in order to try and to experiment things. But also on the outer side, this is very important that we try to tell the authority, the executive, the parliament, how things are going in our business, how things are going to finance the creation, how things are going to have an equal footing on the internet, because these are very, very new field for everyone, including the regulators. Before coming to the last three biggest disruptive changes at the end of my presentation, I'd like to make a short stop on what's next. What's next is called immersion. And we will have more and more immersion in the next few months, in the next few years. This immersion will come first with 4K. 4K, you will be inside the screen, looking for incredible screenings of sports, of fictions, of documentaries, and this will change again the game for us, especially when you see the new player, the kids like Netflix or Amazon doing 4K already, but also the public on UGC, on YouTube, doing 4K with GoPro camera. So this is a new growing area, and think that don't forget that in Japan, for example, they are already working on 8K. 8K for the sports game, for the Olympic Games at the end of the decade. And next is, as I mentioned, I didn't mention it, the virtual reality, VR. It's called VR, and I just skipped this slide because between 4K and VR, we will have HDR coming also from the new player like Amazon and Netflix, which is a huge resolution of the screen. But let's talk a little bit about VR. VR is a total immersion inside the content, inside the fiction, inside the news, inside the documentary. Of course, it's now with a huge and very often very ugly helmet or cast. Think about the Oculus Rift of Facebook, but Samsung, Google, Sony, the big guys are all working on that. For example, on sports, you will be at home, but you will be also on the playground with the players. In the news, you will be inside the demonstration. The Vice News has already begun to show it with the Ferguson's events, but you will be also able to be inside, for example, in a refugee camp, and this was the case some weeks ago with, in Syria. The virtual reality experience is just at the beginning. We will have 360 video coming first. It's already the case on YouTube. It's already the case on some other platforms. And this immersion is a big new media of the next few years. And this head-mounted display shipment are expected to be absolutely amazing. But let's come back to the three big things I mentioned before, the three main disruptors of the TV business. The first one, or let's say this is my point 7, but the first one is the fact that the young people will not come back to the TV screen, at least the major TV screen we knew for the last 40 years. This is one of the biggest moves we are watching in our industry. Every single CEO of a TV broadcast is concerned about that, because for the first time the kids will not do the same like before. And we got some evidence of that. This is, I'll show you this graphics. It's, I cannot tell the name of the broadcaster, but this is one of the biggest European broadcaster, having done a study on the youth behavior. And you know that between the gray area in the middle, this is the teenager period. So this, it was very common that even when you were born like me in the 60s, when you are a teenager, you drop TV, but you come back to TV, and you come back to TV when you begin to work, like 20 or 25. And this was the case at that time. Then you have the people born in 85. So they began to drop TV a little bit earlier, but during the teenager period, there were much less younger people to watch to TV, and they never come back to the same level than before. And the kids born in the 90s, they were dropping TV at 10 years old already, and using it less and less during the teenager period, and coming back much less than before. And now we have the green one, the last one. These are the young people born in 95. And what the broadcaster is saying, and what we think it's the case, this green curve will not come back up again. So this is one of the biggest disruption we are facing in the TV industry. Of course, it's a general trend. This trend is common in Europe. It's common in the US. Online video is taking all the bulk of the eyeballs right now. We have a huge, amazing growing of video per week with the young guys, what we call the millennials. And this is moving to the second one. The second biggest one is the fact that mobile now is first. And we believe that TV industry will have to work on a mobile-first strategy, not a digital-first strategy, but a mobile-first strategy. Because mobile is now the first screen. It's a first screen, and it's taking time from the TV. The American people, the American citizens are spending more time already on mobile than on TV screen. This is very, very new. And the fact that these young people are watching more and more video is a good news, but it's also taking time from the TV. And of course, on mobile, you are watching video. This is, which is quite new, because 2 years ago, maybe 3 years ago, nobody would have believed that you will watch a whole movie on a smartphone. This is the case today. This is the case more and more. And for example, on Netflix, you have half of the young people watching movies, big movie or big series on smartphone. This is a very new trend. And of course, with mobile, you have social, because mobile and social are very, very close friends. And Facebook is now one of the main platforms on mobile with all of this application. Of course, you have Facebook, of course, you have Messenger, but you have also WhatsApp, you have Instagram, and so on. So these are the new players. And in less than 1 year, Facebook is now bigger than YouTube in terms of million views. Who would have thought that 1 year ago, that Facebook would have surpassed YouTube in terms of video views? Facebook is now a huge giant on video. And of course, I mentioned it, but the messaging application are now the new social network, and they are the new platform used by the young people. And on the side of the business model, and I will not last too much time on this one, everyone knows that after a small couple of months, couple of years, that dollars will follow eyeballs where they are moving, and eyeballs are moving to mobile now. The third biggest change and disruption is the non-linear versus linear TV. The fact that more and more you can consume TV à la carte instead of a menu. We will wait for a program at 8 o'clock or at 6 o'clock p.m. in the afternoon. You know that the young people will not wait for that. And by the way, they are not waiting for that. And more than 60% of the millennials are already watching more time-shifted TV than they are watching live TV. On a general basis, we believe, there are some expectations that the non-linear versus the linear will be 50-50 at the end of the decade. This is a huge shift in consumption. And this is moving in every single country as well. And guess what? In a couple of, in the recent months, in recent years, you see, we have seen that Netflix is now bigger than HBO, the biggest US cable company, with more subscribers than HBO in the US. And Netflix, as you know, we saw them last fall here in Cannes. Netflix has spent last year $3 billion in terms of buying programs. We think, we have no concrete information, we think that the budget this year is close to $5 billion, moving to $6 billion of buying content. And of course, the TV, the broadcasting, the pay TV has to react. And this week, just this week, HBO has launched a streaming service called HBO Now, $15 a month. It's a streaming SVOD offer in the US. Couple of other big moves. Who had thought 1 year ago, maybe 3 years ago, that the BBC will have a deal with BitTorrent. These are new kind of agreement, very, very new, very unusual, that we are watching now in the market. With all this noise, with all this incredible amount of video coming to the public, coming to the audience, we will have a choice problem. You know that. And you know that we are moving the TV industry, the TV broadcaster, are moving from a mass media with a few markets and some millions of consumers to, and we were doing basically a carpet bombing without knowing where we were dropping our content, to a more precision media, where we can target, where we can find, and we will be able more and more to find the market niche and the market of some consumer, and maybe on a very personalization side. So from mass media to precision media is another big move that we are watching right now. This possibility of targeting the audience very, very precisely will be one of the key challenges of the TV broadcaster in the next few years. And we will have to work with traditional programming, the traditional programming done by editorial professional, what we call in French a directeur de programme, but they will also have to work with a recommendation engine. And we will have recommendation channel online more and more, like the Netflix or the algorithm. We will have to try to find a new balance between the editorial choice, the fact that a human can choose, can select, can let the public discover new things, and this new machines called algorithm. And I believe the last and maybe more important thing, the last one, will be what you will do with your business, what will you do with the TV channel, and how we will work together. Thank you very much.